Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, Donna.
There we go. Hi, everyone. We're just waiting for a few more people to join and we'll start the webinar shortly. I will have you know that we have allowed videos and audios for the session. We really want this webinar to feel like a community of individuals all aiming towards the same goal. What I do kindly request is to keep the audio on mute until the Q&A session, just so that there's no background noise. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
I see some team members from Clean Cities, New Jersey Clean Cities, like Barry with Central Clean Communities of Central New York. Got some attendance pouring in here. So exciting.
Yes, I'm here.
Excited to see all of you. This is a wonderful collaboration today between, sorry, I have more people joining here. All right, great turnout. So this is a wonderful collaboration between RideWise, New Jersey Clean Cities, and PSE&G. And we're really here to gather to share all our resources available for bringing around EV charging to workplaces across Somerset County. So with that, I think we can get started.
Hi, Sandra.
Anisha, before you start, I'm trying to hit start recording, but I'm not sure if it's recording.
I think it should be automatically recording as soon as we start the meeting. It says that it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone see?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, wonderful. So as I mentioned, we are here today, wonderful collaboration between RideWise, New Jersey Clean Cities, and PSE&G, all to gather together resources around workplace charging. I'm going to pass it along to my colleague, Sarah Catherine, to start us off.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, I'm just going to give a very quick introduction to RideWise. So we're RideWise. We're a nonprofit. Oh, of course, my neighbor's dog is barking out the window. We're RideWise. We're a nonprofit that promotes sustainable transportation. So we're located in Somerset County, but we are one of several transportation management associations throughout the state. So if you're not located in Somerset County, you can, reach out to your local TMA for similar programs. So Anisha, do you mind going to the next slide?
Yep.
So we have a large variety of programs for a large variety of audiences, from schools to employers, local businesses, municipalities, and the general public, going everywhere from bicycle donations to teaching people how to use transit to pedestrian and bicycle safety lessons to schools, and then for things like this for employers on sustainable transportation and electric vehicles. So I'm going to hand it over to Anisha so she can talk a little bit more about our employer services and our EV coalition, since that's the focus for today.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm Anisha. I represent RideWise as the Strategic Partnership and Initiative Specialist. So we have a wonderful EV coalition here where we really gather together stakeholders and partners across Somerset County to get together and conduct knowledge sharing and share resources across the county to accelerate our EV adoption. Now, on the other side of our programming, we offer specific programming for employers across Somerset County. We offer things like eco-mobility meetings, which are really educational meetings. And these sessions are designed to equip employees and clients with the essential skills and knowledge related to transportation, safety, and efficiency. We also offer a comprehensive commuter support program, to enhance employee mobility and promote sustainable travel options. And what's unique is we really tailor our services to your specific organization needs. So I'm happy to discuss more on that. You can email me anytime. But yeah, it's really tailored to your organization needs, and it ranges from things like personalized commuting plans, ride sharing and van pool coordination, and a multitude of other things. So excited to talk with you more on that in the future. With that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Caroline, to bring you the Empower presentation on workplace charging.
I'm muted. I'm really here with you now. Thanks so much, Anisha. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful to be here with you all today. And I truly appreciate the partnership with Anisha and Sarah Catherine and Brian. In planning this meeting, it was a lot of fun pulling all the pieces together and getting to know all of them, and having the opportunity to be here with you today. So thanks for being here. I want to give a shout out to my team, our Executive Director, Chuck Feinberg, and our project assistant, Gabby Lipinska, and our two interns, Jason Smalls and Ari Shapiro. We're a growing team, but we're small and mighty, and on that path towards growth. And workplace charging is an important part of that future, not only for our organization, but with all of you too. So with that, let's get started. And I'm going to share a little bit more about Clean Cities in general. The Clean Cities Coalition Network is a coordinated group of nearly 75 coalitions that work in communities across the country to help local decision makers and fleets understand and implement alternative and renewable fuels, idle reduction measures, and fuel economy improvements. We're the boots on the ground for these initiatives. We provide national support network, technical assistance through our Tiger Teams program, outreach, education, and training, and financial assistance for competitive demonstration and deployment opportunities. New Jersey Clean Cities is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation and a formally designated Clean Cities Coalition by the U.S. Department of Energy. We are the only statewide entity dedicated to the establishment of public-private partnerships for the reduction of petroleum in transportation and the advancement of alternative transportation fuels and advanced vehicle technologies. I like to say our mission is reduced emissions. Here's some of our members, and if you're interested in supporting our mission, feel free to reach out. Our portfolio of technology includes light, medium, heavy-duty information resources and connections for vehicles, fuel sourcing with alternative fuels and renewable fuels such as electric, propane, natural gas, hydrogen, ethanol, renewable diesel. It's a long list, and we're really an all-of-the-above fuel agnostic provider of resources. Fleet evaluations to determine the most impactful and cost-effective light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicle options, and fuel economy and idle reduction improvements through state-of-the-art technologies and strategies. This slide here highlights one of our programs called our Drive for Data initiative. This is one of the ways that we measure how effective the implementation of these alternative fuel and technologies are across the state of New Jersey. For 2023, we hit an all-time high for the state of 14.4 million GGEs, or gasoline gallon equivalents, of fuel displaced, which had a resulting emission reduction of about 65,000 tons of carbon. Another one of the projects that we're working on is the East Coast Sev Corridor Plan. We're a subrecipient on 2 different Department of Energy funded planning studies to examine the potential locations for charging and fueling for both battery electric and hydrogen commercial zero emission vehicles along the I-95 corridor. Our project, led by National Grid, is focusing on New Jersey and North. And the second is led by CalSTART, focusing on New Jersey and South. For both projects, we're a part of the community outreach group, soliciting feedback on various topics from communities across New Jersey. If you would like to learn more about these projects and to engage with us further on this subject, please check out our website. We have under our projects page, we have the I-95 project landing page, which will take you to more information on both projects. Okay, now let's dig in on public charging in Somerset County. This was a quick snapshot. Actually, I did a little digging into the RideWise website, where there was a lot of really handy information and resources. So thank you to Sarah, Catherine, and Anisha for all of that information that's there. And what I calculated is that right now there's 58 total charging locations with a total number of ports of 148. Of those, 126 are level 2 and 22 are DC fast charging. And 116 of those will charge a fee. That fee varies. And 32 of them are free. And when you look at the number of total EVs registered within Somerset County, the number is round about 7,800, but that is growing every day. Question for the audience, anybody want to take a guess on how many gas stations there are in Somerset County? No? Okay, well, then I'll put it out there, 103 currently open and available within the county. So as you start to think about charging, that's right, more than 58. That number, it kind of changes the perspective, because the way that charging and refueling an internal combustion vehicle, they're different. The mentality and the approach is different. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Next slide. Okay, so what qualifies as public charging? So I'm sorry, workplace charging, right? We're switching over now. We're in workplace charging. So is workplace charging the same as public charging? The answer is no, not exactly, but there's definitely some crossover. When I look through the list of those public charging stations available, some of them are at libraries and restaurants, municipal buildings, office complex, and hotels. All of these entities have employees, and if the chargers are public, then employees at those locations can access those chargers. So workplace charging can be at a variety and different types of locations. They can be level 1, level 2, and DC fast charging, so that the charging speed is not a restriction as to whether or not it would be considered a workplace charging or not. But this charging is essential in filling gaps for that critical infrastructure needed to help commuters make the transition to electric vehicles. So why do we care about workplace charging? We boiled it down to 3 big factors. The first is a growing market demand for electric vehicle adoption. The second is a growing interest from corporations in sustainability goals, and the value of workplace charging for the employer. Corporations globally are committing to carbon reduction and sustainability goals. Climate Impact Partners estimates that 2/3 of Fortune 500 companies have a significant carbon commitment, meaning they need to reduce emissions, and they're looking at the most cost-effective and easy way possible to do so. EV adoption is on the rise, and it's expected to increase. Bloomberg estimates 35% of all new EV vehicle sales globally will be electric by 2040, and those EV owners will need convenient and reliable places to charge. EV charging at workplaces will become increasingly important as the number of EV owners increase. Workplace charging can also be an effective way to show off your organization's commitment to sustainability and to become a leader in your community. And as you can see, there's a lot of other reasons that kind of fold into that. So it's not just limited to those reasons. Next slide. So what's stopping employers from moving forward? Well, there's a lack of incentives, a lack of awareness of incentives to offset the upfront costs, a litany of questions required to answer as employees and employers navigate assessing their sites, installing charging, and setting up internal programs to encourage adoption. There are a lot of questions that employers have to answer before or while installing charging for employees, ranging from how many charging stations are needed to meet the anticipated demand to what will this cost. And to that point, a lack of awareness of the monetary benefits to the workplace. EV charging might not make your workplace money, but it has many other benefits, as we mentioned earlier. There are too many questions and not always a clear way to find the answer. That's where Empower comes in. Our U.S. Department of Energy funded nationwide equity-focused Empower Workplace Charging Program is stepping in to engage employers across the country, share information and project resources, provide free coaching, and help workplaces navigate the entire process of installing charging, and publicly highlight workplaces that increase access to electric vehicles for their employees. I like to think of this as the easiest way to access federal funding to help you further your business goals. A key piece of this project is also recognizing employers through our regional and national platforms who pledge to expand access to electric vehicles for their employees by either signing a pledge, installing charging, or expanding existing workplace charging. The foundation of our project is our 30 Clean City Coalition partners nationwide who have been fostering local clean transportation industry relationships for over 30 years. Coalitions are actively engaging workplaces, providing coaching, and recognizing their workplaces' partner success stories. So why should your workplace join Empower? We can help you educate your company decision makers and fellow employees on the basics of EVs and charging. Get you connected with a variety of experts, host events to get employees and employers excited about EVs and workplace charging, navigate workplace charging policies, and provide a variety of recognition to your organization. The Zero Commitment Online Pledge unlocks free planning, technical assistance, and promotion from New Jersey Clean Cities to meet you where you're at on your workplace EV charging journey. We have a variety of tools to help, including identifying funding resources for your project, and we'll help you promote your efforts and successes. Just to quickly read the pledge, I know it's right there, but sometimes the concern is around, well, what am I signing on to? And really this pledge is easy and straightforward. My organization is supporting the growth of charging at work for our employees and pledges to investigate how we can install more charging or better support access to electric vehicles. That's the pledge. Empower will help you with your workplace charging journey by providing program participants with access to one-on-one coaching, project resources, and tools developed by workplace charging subject matter experts, including return on investment, cost and energy calculators, chargers, selection guides, an ebook, and more. As your local Clean Cities Coalition coach, we're also aware of incentives to help you reduce the cost of your project. And Brian's going to talk a little bit more about that shortly. We'll also help you get recognized locally and nationally for your commitment to EV charging access for your employees. You'll get recognition on our website and the opportunity to be featured in social media and press releases. So become an EV friendly employer today and get recognized for your efforts. Listed on the screen here are our New Jersey Clean Cities pledgees. So you can see that you're joining this program in good company. So far, across the 30 Clean Cities coalitions, Empower has engaged over 2,600 workplaces. We've received 321 signed pledges and have installed 168 charging ports. Over 40% of these workplaces meet project and energy and environmental justice metrics, aligning with the Biden administration's government-wide Justice 40 initiative. We hope you'll join us on this project. To get started, you just go to workplacecharging.com. The link is right there. And that's my presentation.
Thank you so much, Caroline. With that, we're going to pass this over to Brian to give you some information around the incentives and the from PSE&G.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you to Caroline and Anisha and Sarah Catherine for setting this all up. So I'm here today to talk about our electric vehicle charging incentive programs. I lead the commercial incentive programs. So I am your point of contact and your best resource for any questions or information about those commercial incentives. We can go to the next slide. And that's going to bring us to, why are we doing this as the utility? Why is PSE&G working to drive EV adoption? So really, PSE&G as the utility focused on three core things right now through our various EV and our energy efficiency incentive programs, what we call our Clean Energy Future, where we're focused on enabling cleaner energy from transmission to energy efficiency, investments in infrastructure, to create a more resilient and reliable grid, which is actually a big portion of our EV charging incentive program. And of course, investments and programs that support affordability, another big driver of this program. And this is all as part of our PSE&G Powering Progress vision, which is for a future where people use less energy, it's cleaner, safer, and delivered more reliably and affordably than ever. So let's go on to the next slide here. And how can the PSE&G programs benefit your business? So let me just start off by saying this is a workplace incentive webinar for Somerset County. And so you should know right off the bat that PSE&G's currently approved incentives do not specifically have a workplace carve out or option for specifically for workplace charging. That said, there may still be opportunity for you to take advantage of the incentives we do have available today. And we are working with our regulators at the Board of Public Utilities to expand our incentive offerings and bring in more customers and more businesses into our EV incentive. So that said, our incentives generally are designed around easing range anxiety, building out public charging throughout our electric service territory. And so as Caroline mentioned, while workplace charging doesn't necessarily mean public, it could also mean public, right? Public chargers installed at your workplace can still be utilized by your employees. And there are lots of opportunities for even things like offering savings to your employees where maybe they get discounted or even free charging, whereas public members who come and utilize those chargers can pay full price. So there's lots of options there where you may still be able to take advantage of our incentive programs. So let's go to the next slide and just talk a little bit about why you might want to offer public EV charging. And Caroline already hit on a lot of these metrics, right? We're talking about 26% of shoppers, right, likely to purchase an EV in the next month. We have state and national goals to drive EV adoption. And so as Caroline mentioned, right, you're showing your commitment to the environment, right, by bringing the public into your property and showing you are providing this, this service of EV charging. You're demonstrating that your business has this commitment, whether you are a storefront and looking to bring people in, or you're just a warehouse or any sort of type of business. You're building brand awareness, and it's also, of course, very convenient for your employees, visitors, and customers who do drive EVs who come to your workplace. They can take advantage of that charging, and that's especially important for like visitors and customers who may otherwise be kind of left out of a traditional workplace specific program that's exclusive for employees. So all that being said, let's talk a little bit about what incentives are available to you. So what we're looking at here are our level 2 mixed use commercial charging program. So this is called mixed use because there's 3 types of customers who can qualify to receive the incentives you see on the screen. The first is any multifamily property. The second would be for any government entity. So if you're doing any work for any municipal sites, public universities, or any other public government institution, they can qualify as a government entity. And for multifamily properties and government entities, they do not have to open the chargers to the public in order to receive these incentives. And then lastly would be any commercial customer where they make charger access available to the public during what we would consider quote unquote reasonable business hours. Totally understanding that not every business is going to operate on the same hours, and not every business wants the public on their property during the same hours, right? Some businesses may want the maybe open to the public coming when their business is not operating, maybe in the evening, and others may be more only interested in having the public on their property during the day when they have people there. So there's lots of options. So we look at for about as long as the chargers are open to the public 8 hours a day, they can still be considered publicly accessible. So lots of options for workplace charging there to accommodate as long as you're willing to open those chargers up to the public. And we do have some generous incentives to help encourage you to do that. We offer up to $7,500 per charger installation for up to 4 chargers per site for what we call customer side make ready. So that's for the installation of your EV charger, the labor material for your installation, as well as any required infrastructure upgrades. Things like trenching, running conduit, paving restoration, the installation of safety bollards, even things that are a little bit more outside the box, like line striping and signage, or even security cameras or lighting, all of which go into making a site really ready to host EV drivers beyond just having, a charger on the back of a warehouse somewhere in the dark where, you're driving in the middle of the night and, and I've seen plenty of chargers like that, right? So we're encouraging customers to, make these chargers, available and accessible to the public. And so we can help cover costs that go towards that. And so again, we can cover up to $30,000 of those customer side costs for your installation. So that's really driving back to what I talked about earlier as far as investments that support affordability, right? We're trying to ease the cost for jumping into the EV charging game. Then when it comes to making the grid more resilient, more reliable, part of this program is that we drive every customer who installs chargers through our engineering load assessment process. So we go out, we send an engineer out to your site. We're going to assess all the PSE&G equipment that services your property, and we're going to determine if we have adequate service to meet the load of your EV chargers. And we're doing this progressively and over time, so we don't end up at some point where suddenly we have no capacity for EV, right? We're building this out slowly over time. And as part of that, if there are upgrades required, right? Maybe you need to upgrade the transformer that feeds your property, or maybe you want a brand new service that brings EV charging power to your property due to the convenient location of a nearby transformer in your parking area, but that's maybe separate and distant from the your meter, your original meter for your building, right? We can cover up to $10,000 of utility costs for service upgrades or new service to provide to support the load of your EV chargers. So that's the commercial level 2 incentives. And so if we go to the next slide, what you're going to see here is our direct current fast charging incentives. As Caroline mentioned, right, the incentives, the workplace charging could be level 2 or level 3, right? Level 3 refers to this direct current fast charging, typically starting at 25 kW, though that's pretty low for a DC fast charger, and going all the way up to, I've seen even 500 kW DC fast chargers out on the market today, which are incredibly fast when it comes to charging up your vehicle. Do understand, of course, that there is a balance between the speed of the charger and the ability for your vehicle to take a high-speed charge, right? If your vehicle can only take 100 kW and you pull up to a 500 kW charger, you're still going to be capped at that 100 kW output in terms of the speed of charging. All that being said, these incentives are available for publicly accessible DC fast chargers. It's the same structure of customer side make ready and utility side make ready as our level 2 program, but the incentives go up significantly. So rather than $7,500 for the installation of a level 2 charger, we go up to $25,000 for a commercial public DC fast charger, and that's up to 4 chargers per site, just like our level 2 program. So a max of $100,000 per site for the installation of your chargers, as well as required infrastructure upgrades. And then likewise, we provide a reduction of up to $50,000 for that utility work that might be required. And just to provide a little bit of context, because I very much understand that, especially with the utility costs, it can seem very much like a big unknown. So the vast majority of our customers who participate in our incentive program pay nothing for their utility upgrades. As an example, I was just recently working with a couple of dealerships, and one installed 2 level 3 DC fast chargers, dual ports. I think they were 200 kW chargers, and they got a brand new service with a dedicated pad mount transformer. And the total cost for that would have cost them around $40,000. But thanks to our incentive program, we were able to cover the full cost of their upgrade. And so they were able to get that brand new transformer, brand new service provided at no cost to them. So that's the incentives around our direct current fast charging program. And then lastly, of course, we do offer residential incentives as well. And so these are incentives primarily for customers in single family homes, condos, townhomes, and other residential locations in some multifamilies where you may have access to a dedicated parking space and your residential meter. So most residential customers, especially those in single family homes, taking advantage of our $1,500 per charger installation incentive, have had the full cost of their installations covered through this incentive program. And with that, our average incentive is around $1,350. And so most customers are coming in, right? You do have to purchase a level 2 charger. Our incentive does not contribute towards the purchase price of the charger, but then the installation cost we can basically fully cover in most cases. And of course, there will be exceptions where your cost may be greater than $1,500. But as I said, most customers are having the full cost of their installation covered here. And then, of course, we do have utility upgrades as well there. And there are additional incentives that are not baked into our EV program for residential customers where we're doing utility upgrades. And so, again, the vast majority of residential customers have paid nothing for any upgrades required for utility work through our incentive program and other credits that we can apply. So just to recap on the PSE&G currently available incentives, we have a residential program which provides $1,500 per charger for the installation of a charger at your home. We have a level 2 commercial program which provides $7,500 for the installation of a charger at your multifamily government entity or commercial location where charger access is provided to the public for at least 8 hours a day. And then lastly, $25,000 per charger for public DC fast charging. So let's go to the last slide here. And so if you want to learn more about our currently available programs, I recommend you take a look at pseg.com/EV. That's where the central repository of all the information about our programs, and that's also where you will go to apply for our programs. Now, with this, I just want to pause for a second and mention, right, we're talking here primarily to Somerset County businesses, and Somerset County is split between PSE&G and JCP&L, now owned by First Energy. So you should just note that, and I'm not an expert in their incentive programs, but they do have similar incentives available to PSE&G. Their programs were approved a little bit after ours, so the exact wording and the dollar amounts are a little bit different, but at its core, just know that your utility, JCP&L, maybe if you're even coming up from the south and you're in Atlantic City Electric or even in Orange and Rockland territory, all the utilities in New Jersey do offer similar programs. And then in addition to that, the Board of Public Utilities in New Jersey runs a program called Charge Up NJ, which offers incentives on the cost of a purchase of both an electric vehicle and a EV charger. They also have EV tourism grants and a few other incentives that you may be applicable for. So definitely encourage you guys to check out the information from the Board of Public Utilities on their website. We do have a link to their site from the PSE&G webpage, so it's in one of our frequently asked questions. So if you ever need that, you can find that there. And then lastly, the Department of Environmental Protection in New Jersey has a program called It Pays to Plug In. I think it's fun. They changed the S in pays to a $sign. So that's how you'll find that. It pays to plug in, which does offer a workplace and public and multi-unit dwelling incentives. Again, they're providing incentives on the cost of the chargers. So to kind of bring this all together, you can combine the various incentives from the government agencies in New Jersey, plus federal tax incentives and other grants and stuff you may receive, and you may be able to get connected to through the Empower program with the PSE&G incentives to overall lower your total cost. So there's a lot of opportunity out there for you. If you want to take advantage, now is a great time. There's lots of incentives out there, and there are lots of resources available to you to help coordinate on the incentives. I am, and we can go to the last slide here, I guess. I'm one of those resources for you. So if you have any questions, my information is up on the screen. And if you do have questions about our residential program, feel free to reach out to me. But you could also reach out to pseng-electric.vehicles. That's our team email address. So we have a team of reps who are answering questions and stuff coming from there. You may get a quicker response on some general questions. But yeah, for any commercial related questions, or if you want to set up a webinar type of setting and go through any questions you might have through at your specific site, I'm more than happy to do that. Please feel free to reach out to me at my contact information on the screen, which I'm sure we can share with all the webinar attendees. And that's it for me. So I guess at this point, we'll pass it back to Anisha, and I think we're going to go over to open floor for Q&A.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brian and Caroline, for bringing all your resources to our community over here. We're going to open the floor up for any questions you may have for any of us.
There are some in the chat.
Yep, there are some in the chat.
Yep, let's check them out. Okay.
So I think the first
so I'm going to jump in if it's okay. I see a question for PSE&G here from Jennifer. So you do not necessarily have to be the landlord of the facility, but you do need to be the PSE&G electric customer. So if you are not the meter holder, right, if you don't pay your PSE&G bill, you would not be able to participate. But in that case, your landlord would be able to participate. And so maybe you want to work with them to coordinate on these incentives because they would gain some of those benefits as well. And then, of course, that would pass down to any tenant that takes over that space. So you just have to be the PSE&G electric customer. I'll also just quickly point out that there are some folks who may be PSE&G gas customers, but not PSE&G electric, as there is not a full one-to-one match of our electric to gas service territory. So you do need to be an electric PSE&G customer in order to qualify for those incentives.
And we had another question, Caroline, around the HR implications. I know you answered it on the chat, but just in case those who have missed that on the chat, I'd love to see if you can share that with with everyone.
Sure, absolutely. The question came up asking around.
I can read it to you.
I hope the presentation will discuss the HR implications of providing free electric charging to employees that have electric vehicles as compared to employees who have gas vehicles who are not provided gas. Is a great question. And it is truly an important consideration. HR implications across the board are important to consider when you're thinking about workplace charging. There are a lot of different ways, especially if you're a larger corporation, to think about how to navigate through the complexities of a workplace charging program, from determining on where is the fairest place for that charging to be, how should the pricing be structured, who should cover the costs, and how can you participate in a unilateral and even way. So we have an ebook that kind of digs into some of those questions in more detail, but the simple answer is that there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. But really, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you can absolutely approach it in the way that is the most fitting for your business. So that would be my response, which is that if free charging is not right for your organization because it'll cause conflict, then finding a structure that keeps things even for everyone is absolutely within your power.
And I would just
Great,
add
thank
that
you.
it's important to remember that, programs like this, like, an employer offering, free or subsidized workplace charging, right? It's designed to promote certain behaviors, right? It's very similar to, like, if you have, through your health insurance, if you have gym memberships, maybe you get discounts, right? Because they want to encourage you to take certain behaviors, right? So it's very similar to that. So, we're not encouraging the businesses, in at least, right, in the minds that aren't encouraging people to, get gas, so they're not going to give you free gas, right? But they are encouraging you at this point, to move over to an EV. So we might offer subsidized EVs. So that's the reason why all these types of incentives and programs exist, right? We're trying to gently encourage people to make these more cost effective and move people in what we think is the right direction, or at least we hope is the right direction.
Do we have any other questions?
I have a question.
Go for it, Caroline.
I hope some of you will join us on the Empower program. I really would love to work with you. So I put the link in the chat. It's right there, workplacecharging.com. When you get to the page, you can scroll down, you'll see sign the pledge and click there. It does take just a mere minute to two on the outside to fill out the pledge form, which is why I call it the easiest way to access federal funding and support, because of the funding that's coming from the Department of Energy for the program. Normally, in order to get grant funding, it's a very arduous process, but this is smooth and easy and seamless. So join us and help. Will help make a difference in the Somerset community, which is really exciting.
Opening it up. Any other questions? No? Well, what we will do is we will most likely have this whole webinar updated on our RideWise website under the EV resources. So feel free to, share, go on our RideWise website at any time with any of your colleagues if anyone's looking for more information around it. And of course, we're going to host future webinars shortly with more partnerships available to you. So I'm really thankful to Caroline and Brian for joining us today and providing your insights. And thank you to everyone who joined in and participated.
Thank you so much.
With that, I wish you all a great day.
Take care, everybody.